That's where you'd hang. The ladder truck was here, the engine was here.
It's a place that's sure to make him smile.
You learned everything in life what you needed to know.
A place he spent countless hours at as a kid.
There's my dad right here. Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. 1964.
Growing up, Dave Russell's father was the fire chief in Fairfield. So fire headquarters is where his dream to become a firefighter began.
At 2 o'clock in the morning when the phone rang and my father was going to a fire, he'd kick my feet, and you had exactly 3.2 seconds to get in the car or you missed it.
It was St. Patrick's Day in Manhattan in 1965 that Russell wanted that dream to come true more than ever.
The New York City firemen had just pulled some guy out and he was burnt pretty bad. And I remember those guys taking care of the civilian like it was their own. And that's when I determined I want to be one of them.
When Russell was 27, he achieved that dream. He'd been serving as a firefighter in the U.S. Air Force when the fire department of the city of New York hired him.
It's the bread and butter of the fire service.
Fast forward a decade, Russell was now a lieutenant at 62 Engine in the Bronx. He lived with his wife and son in Pound Ridge at the time and spent his days off renovating his home. It's what he'd been doing the morning of September 11th, 2001.
And I just happened to hear the phone ring. I don't know what time it was, 8 something, whatever. And I picked it up and my wife said, "You're going to work." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "A small plane just went into the World Trade Center." And while I was en route, I heard on the radio the second plane hit. So we commandeered a bus from Webster, no police escort. Some of our guys were stripping off their clothes and putting on their gear. You know, nobody knew anything. And then we made the turn and you look downrange and you could see what I call a horizontal tornado. The smoke coming from Manhattan going into Brooklyn was just that black cloud. You'd run into somebody that you worked with and, you know, good to see you, brother. And you really meant it. This was my January detail. This is us, I believe, in the base of the North Tower.
Russell would go on to spend 6 months at Ground Zero.
For my generation, that was our Pearl Harbor. We got attacked, you know, and more people died that day than on Pearl Harbor. And they're still dying, unfortunately. This is probably one of the largest pieces of glass you're ever gonna find. This is some of the other stuff that was in the air that we were breathing, ground glass. You could not find big pieces of glass because that was the impact of these buildings.
Looking back 20 years.
As bad as it was the best America's been in a long time. Everybody stepped up, everybody. 99% of the guys, if you asked them would they do it again, absolutely. Even knowing what we know now, we'd still do it.
In Fairfield, Lauren Fabrizi, News 12 Connecticut.